Here we go. Spoiler alert, audience. And good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Jason Show Home Edition. I'm Jace. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope you guys are having a really good morning. I am so glad that you're here. Grab a cup of coffee, as we say, and join me for the next hour or so. Now, some of you, we're going to begin with this. Some of you joined me last weekend on social media, and I want to say thank you. You know, we used to do Facebook Live shows before we started doing the home shows on TV, and people really liked them. So last Saturday, I was pretty open and upfront about this. Last Saturday, I was starting to lose a little faith in people, people on social media, following some news regarding our radio station, and some folks lost their jobs, and some good friends of mine lost their jobs. So I went on social media. I went on Twitter to kind of dispel some rumors, give some real talk, really listen to people. And I went on Twitter. Ooh, I'm looking rough there. Look at that. Have my workout shirt on. But anyway, I went on Twitter on Saturday night and kind of had a cocktail party with y'all. And I right now, I think 16,000 or 15,000 have seen it. And I just really talked to you guys and answered some questions. Talked about the Jason Show. I talked about my talk. I talked about my buddy Amelia Santinello Vassalero. It was so funny, guys. I'm not joking. Some very nice woman in the middle of it chimed in because I said, ask me anything. And she goes, well, I heard that Amelia was mean. And you wait till you see that video. I went like this and went, I know she didn't, because you guys know this. If you're watchers of the Jason Show for any period of time, Amelia is like my big sister over there in Channel 4, and nobody talks about her. So my whole face changed. My boss at radio called me the next morning and said, that was so funny, because I guess my whole face kind of contorted, because I hide nothing on my face. Alexis used to call me from the radio show when she would watch me on The Buzz here on Channel 9. And she was like, you need to check your face because you are showing everything. Like if I was frustrated, well, you guys know, you watch this show, you know I can't hide any facial expressions. So it was just very funny. Amelia, just to set the record straight again, is the nicest person on earth, really. And that poor person, she didn't know she was getting into the wasp's nest with me. But anyway, you can see that on my Twitter account. All you have to do is just search for Jason Matheson. That's my personal account, and I have it pinned right up there on the top. Okay, are you guys ready? Let me take a little drink. I got my spoon ready because it is time for the hot dish. Here we go, everybody. Bloop, 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 bloop. I missed a little sound effect there. Well, it seems like the networks, at least one, have listened to me. Remember, I think it was last week or the week before, I said, if I were running the networks, if I were running ABC, CBS, or NBC or Fox, I said I would look down the reality of the situation, which is y'all are going to eventually run out of original shows. You're going to run out of new episodes for your shows because Hollywood is shut down. I think Tyler Perry is firing back up his production in Atlanta. But basically, Hollywood is shut down. So if I were the networks and I still needed to fill time on the networks, I would go into my vaults and revive some things. Well, one of my suggestions was for ABC, who's owned by Disney, to bring back The Wonderful World of Disney on Sunday nights. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm thrilled to tell you, right before I started taping this, Disney announced they are bringing back The Wonderful World of Disney. Now, this has had many iterations over the years. You're watching the open from, I believe, 98, 99 over there on ABC. The Wonderful World of Disney has had many incarnations. Walt used to host a version of it. Michael Eisner famously hosted the one that I remember in the 90s. And The Wonderful World of Disney was usually always on Sundays, would show some of classic Disney movies, new Disney originals. I remember the Whitney Houston Cinderella was on there. They would do sometimes original animated shorts on there. They would run movies like The Santa Claus. And now the library for Disney has grown even more. I think this is such a great idea because other than the fact that, they have a library of titles just waiting, we all need a little hope. We all need a little positivity, especially on Sundays when more families watch TV on Sundays than any other night. I don't know if you guys know that. So what a great thing to bring back. And this was also kind of sped up because Disney found a lot of success with that Disney sing-along. They're doing like a part 2. So this was a no-brainer. The Wonderful World of Disney, the new version, will debut in the fall. Speaking of oldie but goodies, and neither of them are old, especially because I love her, Julia Louis-Dreyfus and her old Seinfeld buddy Jason Alexander got back together for a really good cause. Look at this. That's right. They did a fundraiser, everybody, and chatted about the good old days when they were co-stars on Seinfeld. The two talked about one of their iconic episodes, the Chinese restaurant, and they revealed that they said NBC executives had no interest in it following their original table read. Executives said it didn't make any sense, but Larry David went ahead, as Larry David does, and did it anyway. And unlike other episodes, it was shot like a play with one scene. Jason also revealed he was offered money by tabloids to leak details about the series finale, but said there was no way he would do it. Now, the chat was all in an effort to raise money for Direct Relief, a charity helping healthcare workers on the front line. And you can see the whole thing on YouTube. I love both of them independently, and I love Julia Louis-Dreyfus and Veep. This was really good. If you get a chance, watch the whole thing. Sometimes executives, they don't always know what's best. I'm not talking about our executives here. They know what they're doing. Next in the dish, let's move on to Justin Bieber and his wife, Hailey. You know me. They don't always interest me, but I thought this was kind of cute. They're doing a new thing on Facebook Watch. It's kind of like the Justin show with Hailey. The couple's new Facebook Watch series, Justin said his wife has cleared up his acne while they were doing this. Apparently, over the last 2 years, he struggled with breakouts. We can all relate to that. She's apparently really into skincare and has been picking and prodding at his skin. I don't know if I need to know that. She says she pops his zits. Okay, I could have gone my entire life without hearing that. And puts serums on him and gives him masks. He says she's really helped his self-confidence. And now his skin looks great. And obviously, they're happy. They're making some chicken or something in the kitchen. And can we say that's a really nice kitchen. Okay, now speaking of Justin Bieber, before we take a break, look at this, everybody. I want to show you this. This is from my buddy Fallon from KDWB. Fallon did a little Justin Bieber talked to Fallon live on Instagram. She said she was just on Instagram watching Hollywood, and Justin Bieber pops on, takes her request to talk to him. So there she is talking to the Biebs. Way to go, Fallon. Fallon on the Dave Ryan in the Morning Show on KDWB. Dear friends, go grab another cup of coffee. We have such a good show, so stay right there. Back right after this. And welcome back to the Jason Show Home Edition. She is the Shirley to my Laverne. That's right. She is. She's the Chrissy to my Janet, even though she has better hair than Chrissy or Janet. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Kendall, everybody. Hello, darling.
Hello. I love the Laverne and Shirley reference.
I know, I do too. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Just took this sweater back out of the box I put it in because, it was warm and it's been cold. So that's
now, by the time this airs on Tuesday, hello, the future.
Hi, Tuesday.
We will have had. There was an Arctic. What was it? A vortex. A polar vortex moved through the country.
Yeah. It was colder here than Antarctica. So congratulations, or the North Pole, opposite.
Well, and then you and I haven't gotten to laugh about this. So I said it, I think, on the last new episode. We have to worry about the pandemic. We have to worry about the economy, crushing unemployment. And now we have to worry about murder hornets. I mentioned this on Thursday's show. You and I didn't get a chance to talk. Have you heard about the murder hornets? Because I'm obsessed with this.
I'm just like, Mother Nature, read the room. Now is not the time.
No. Did you hear how big they are?
They're like this.
They're like half an Alex Kendall. They're about half of Alex.
Seriously, that's terrifying. Our poor bumblebees.
Yeah, they have mandibles. Bumblebees, yeah, I care about bumblebees, but they said if you get stung by one of these, it feels like a hot poker in your skin.
Mm-hmm. Have you watched that video of the guy that gets stung by it? He like does it on purpose so that you can watch his reaction.
Yeah, well, that guy's a moron. That's Mother Nature doing her business. But I mean, I'm just saying, I don't care. I'm not doing anything for TikTok. I'm not going to be stung by I'm not going to be stung by something called a murder hornet to get some clicks. I'm sorry, I ain't doing that.
Seriously.
But I better not say anything. Yeah. Well, and you better watch. Jeff and Ted will be like, that's a good idea for ratings. Anyway, no, I'm just kidding. Okay, I'm glad you're here, sweetie, because let me show you something. I got to pull up something. This is from the Jason Show Facebook page. This was just today, okay? As we're recording this, another episode of our at-home edition, all new shows aired, and we got more comments asking, where is Kendall? Where is Kendall?
Oh.
2 women asking, where is Kendall? Which kills me because the very episode they were commenting on, you were in.
I know. Maybe they got up to heat up their coffee. I don't know.
You're here. I'm just going to take a close-up of you right now. So everybody, I'm going to stay on just a close-up. There she is. She's back. She's been back for weeks now. Do you want to do some hot dish with me? Okay, here we go. Leftover hot dish. Act like you have a spoon, Kendall. Act like you have a spoon. There we go. It's very... What is that?
It's a tripod.
It's a tripod. Oh, okay. Yeah, anyway. I purposely saved the story because I know that you know these two or you're curious about these two. Kristen Calamari and her soon-to-be ex-husband. What's his name? Jake.
Kristen Cavallari and Jay Cutler.
Okay. So they're filing for divorce, and now we're learning why. You're looking at a scene from their show. I guess they have a show. Mm-hmm. If these names sound familiar, Kristen Calamari starred in Laguna Beach back in the early 2000s, and Jay is the former quarterback for the Bears. Now, according to Page 6, when Kristen met Jay 10 years ago, she thought he would have a sports broadcasting career once his football career ended. Well, that's not how things are working out. Over the past 3 years, she's found Jay to be lazy and unmotivated. All he wants to do, according to Page 6, is hang out with their kids and some farm animals. This is the show you're watching right now. They start in Very Calamari, which follows her new business, Uncommon James. They've been married.
Right now, by the way.
That's from her line?
For real, yeah, she has really cute earrings. I wear her earrings a lot.
Okay, so what do you think of this? Do you think he's lazy?
Okay, well, Kristen, you think he's lazy and unmotivated. You should have read the scouting report. That's how he played his entire NFL career. That's why he eventually got canned by the Bears. Now, B, he did have an opportunity from what I've heard. He had an opportunity, I think it was with either Fox Sports or ESPN, to do some sideline or analysis for the NFL for them. And he turned it down, ended up going and playing for Miami, and then now has just like watched deer on his game camera. That's like what, and I'm not joking, that's like what he does. He doesn't do anything all day. So she's like...
He watches what on a what?
You have these cameras that you put in when you go hunting, so that you put it in like a couple months before you go hunting or weeks. And then you can see the wildlife go by to make sure that there's deer or turkey in your area.
Okay.
He watches them.
I shan't be doing that. I just want to be clear. Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
But yeah, I mean, they seemed like they worked because she's kind of cranky sometimes and like, and he's so lazy that it seemed like it worked. But apparently it didn't.
Well, and I was talking to a friend about this. I don't blame Kristen Calamari because laziness is not attractive. I want somebody with drive. I mean, when I met Colin, it was one of my first questions. Like, I quoted Pretty Woman, what's your dream? Everybody has a dream. I was quoting Pretty Woman. I said, what do you want to do with your life? I don't mind if you have, small goals and dreams, but have some drive. Don't you agree? I mean, your husband's driven, Jordan's driven.
Oh, totally. I mean, it's a huge thing. You are the most like the people you spend the most time with, right? And so if you're surrounding yourself with people who are like that, eventually either it drives you so crazy you leave, or you become that way. And I think I watched their show. I really like the show because I like Kristen, because I like that she's a boss. And he's kind of been just sitting there. And it's one thing after a year of being in the NFL for a decade. But it's been 3 years. And
cut the grass, dude. Cut the grass or something.
Right.
Yeah.
I think he does that. I think that's about it.
Well, again, I just want to say I'm going to take another close up. Kendall is back. She has gone nowhere. She is here. To those ladies worried, there she is. And her fern, her fake fern. There's Kendall, everybody. No, it's not. It's fake. Anyway, Kendall, everybody, it's real. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back right after these. And welcome back to the Jason Show. It is time for some positive news, some good news. We call it Jason's non-negative news. That's right. For the next 3.5 to 4 minutes, there will be no complaining. There will be no negativity. I will even lower the amount of snark in this segment. Let's start off. As I was taping this, we found out that the slow reopening process for Walt Disney World has begun. That's right. Disney Springs, which if you are unfamiliar with Disney World, they consider it jokingly kind of their 5th amusement park. This is where all the restaurants are. This is where all the stores are. They are beginning to slowly reopen. They have a slow opening date coming up in just a few weeks here in May. Now, not every restaurant will be open. Not every attraction, every store will be open. But this is the first sign of a slow reopening of the Walt Disney World Resort in Orlando. By the way of note, see that restaurant to the right on your screen, the Boathouse? That is done by the same gentleman who started the Rainforest Cafe, Steve, who is based here in Minneapolis. And the Boathouse, one of my favorites there in Walt Disney World, is based on Lake Minnetonka. I love the Boathouse. I do. Hi, Steve. So that's good news. And then Shanghai Disney, as we were getting ready to record this, they're opening on, by the time this airs, they open on Monday. So yesterday, those tickets sold out in under an hour. Now, Shanghai Disney will be interesting to watch because that will kind of give us a sign or a signal of how the American parks are going to reopen with social distancing guidelines, fewer attractions. They're eliminating shows like parades and character meet and greets. So the business community, the entertainment community is going to keep a real close eye on how Shanghai does their reopening. Next in our non-negative news, I love this. A woman who went into, and I want to get this right, $1 million in debt to donate supplies to workers at Ground Zero back in 2001 is in debt again for a great cause. This time, she went into debt $600,000 to buy medical supplies, PPEs, to New York-based hospitals. She spent $600,000 of her own money. Now that is an angel right here on earth. And I hope maybe we can start like a GoFundMe for her because that's generosity, man. $600,000, a two-time angel. We're going to take a break, everybody. Coming up in just a little bit, more fun, more guests, and a little thank you toward the end of the show as well. So stay right there. Back right after this. Welcome back. I know it might not sort of kind of seem like it, but it is grilling season. That's about all we can do. Go in our backyard and grill. Here with some great grilling suggestions, sauce suggestions. Heck, we may even barbecue some ribs right up in here on TV right now. Ladies and gentlemen, our foodie queen, Stephanie Hansen's back. Hello, Steph.
Hello.
Okay, Steph, this is all about grilling. Where are we starting?
Well, I just think grilling is going to be like the new dining out, right? because it's socially distant. You can do it in your backyard so you can space everybody out. So when we're able to gather in even small groups, I think the way that everybody's going to do it this spring and summer is going to be grilling. So I've got some curbside meal kit pickup grilling ideas for you.
Okay.
PS Steak, which is like one of my favorite steakhouses in the Twin Cities. They've got this really great Denver steak that they have on the menu in the restaurant. And they also have a flat iron steak that they are selling online, and you can pick them up. They're Wagyu, Black Angus, all the fancy kind of beef that you need for grilling. And it's curbside pickup, so you just order it online and then you grill it at home. So really delicious meat that they hand cut. So that's what PS Steak is doing.
And
but then
that's, I don't mean to interrupt you, that's half the battle right there, getting a good cut of meat. You know what I mean? Getting a great cut of meat.
Yes. And right around the corner from PS Steak is Lowry Hill Meats, which is a meat market in Minneapolis, which I'm crazy about. Not only do they like butcher their own pork, their chicken, they've got lamb, they've got burgers and brats. They've also got pantry items too. So if you want a little coleslaw to go with your rack of ribs, or if you want some potato salad, they've got all kinds of those things online for you for curbside pickup. They've got house-made pickles. They even have hickory smoked wood. So if you have like a smoker and you want to do a smoker gig, you can get your beef, get your hickory smoked wood, get some pickles and some beans from Lowry Hill Meats, all curbside pickup.
We have an employee at Fox 9, Nick. We call him Know-It-All Nick. He loves Lowry Hill Meats. I have to admit,
fantastic.
I have never been there. I need to go there.
It's so good.
Yeah, I know. I need to go. Yeah.
All right. So another idea, if you're not maybe as like chefy or as fancy, is Red Cow has burger bundles that are all set up for you to grill. So if you want to have the blues burger at home, they'll give you the seasoning, the meat, the buns, the cheeses, the sauces. It's all in a grill kit for you. They come in packs of 4 so that you can grill and have that type of experience at home.
Red Cow sounds great. What's next, Steph?
Okay, St. Paul Meat Company. This is kind of like Lowry Hill Meats in Minneapolis, but it's in St. Paul, and they've got these meat packs for grilling. So they have a brat and burger pack that has 4 burgers, 4 brats, buns. They've got zucchini pickles. They've got bacon. They really butcher all of their own animals. They do all their own meat grinds. It's a really good value, and they have delicious, delicious meat. They also have a fish bundle. So if you're someone that likes halibut and salmon, they have a farmer in Sitka, Alaska that processes fish for them and line catches the fish. So it's really sustainable. And if fishing is your grill action, they can hook you up there. You can order that online. And then this is going to surprise you. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
I love to shop local. I do it a lot. But every once in a blue moon, I get to my Sam's Club and they have something called a Tomahawk Chop. And it is a steak that is like a roast. It's like 2 to 3 inches tall. It has the big leg bone on it. And we buy that. It's generally about $25. It feeds like 3 to 4 people. Put a little seasoning on that. Put it on your grill. You want to have a temperature thermometer because it's kind of hard to make sure when it's done. But that thing from Sam's Club is fantastic.
I love it. What's next?
All right, so you get all of your grilled meats and maybe you like want some fancy sauces or something to feel a little restaurant worthy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so chimichurri. Chimichurri is weird. They serve it all over Argentina. It is basically 2 cups of herbs. So whether it's parsley, cilantro, mint, basil, whatever, with some olive oil and some lemon juice and some red wine vinegar. And you blend all that up. And you have like this really bright, pretty green sauce that can serve as a side to your meat. You can lay it on the base and grill some vegetables and put like the grilled vegetables on top. You can drizzle and get all kind of fancy. So you could like maybe have some roasted potatoes or grilled potatoes. You could even have it on grilled corn. Chimichurri is like an amazing secret weapon sauce. It makes everything feel fancier.
I love it. We're saucing. What's the next sauce?
Here's another idea. Like, I don't really like just pork. I just don't really like it. But if you give me a pork chop that is thick cut, that I've marinated in molasses which molasses is the kind of thing like you have this around your house because you made ginger cookies 100 years ago and it just sits there. Mix it up with a little coffee, a little garlic. So just a little lukewarm cup of coffee, put it in your Ziploc bag with your double cut chop, marinate it for at least 2 hours or overnight. That is going to be so juicy the next day when you do your grilling, or a couple hours later when you grill that chop, and it's going to give it great grill marks. So it really just looks so beautiful and it tastes beautiful and it's got a little lacquer. Oh, that's like my favorite way to have a pork chop.
I need to have that. Do you have one more?
I do. Okay, let's say that you're just at home and you don't have anything, but you want to make like steak sauce, because a lot of us are stuck at home and you only have what you have. How about mixing up some ketchup, just your like plain old Heinz, with Worcestershire sauce? Okay, you mix that together and that makes like a cheaper kind of A1-y Heinz 57 type steak sauce. It really works. It's great. And it gives you the ability to have kind of like a fancier sauce, even though the base is ketchup. It's just ketchup and Worcestershire sauce.
You've shocked me with two. That, and then the Sam's Club Fred Flintstone cut of meat that tips over your car.
The Tomahawk Chop.
Yes. There she is, ladies and gentlemen, Stephanie Hansen. You can follow Steph at Stephanie's Dish. And the Weekly Dish you can listen to on My Talk 1071 on Saturdays. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. At home, please clap because we can hear you. Give it up for producer Ted, everybody. What's up, Ted?
Hello.
Now, I don't want to reveal the end too much, but I'm just going to give the viewers a visual hint. Something looks different. I'm not going to say what, but something looks different. Now, before we get to that, though, is that Jerry Seinfeld I see on your television right there?
It is Jerry Seinfeld. I have not watched it yet, but I'm a big Jerry Seinfeld fan, and this is on the to-do list right after.
Is that his new special, Ted?
23 Hours to Kill, yeah.
Okay.
This is just Jerry Seinfeld in his element, talking about nothing.
Okay. So that's I watched his other Netflix special. That one was pretty good, so I'm anxious. I do love his. Have you seen Leslie Jones's Netflix special?
No.
Oh, all of you watching, there's a Best Thing Ever. Funny. Leslie Jones, everyone from SNL, her Netflix comedy special is unbelievably funny. I can't remember what it's called, but it's real funny. So write that one down, Ted.
She's ever since the Olympics, she's been on the top of the world.
Yeah. When she like reviews TV shows on her Instagram, she's really good on the Insta. Okay. Now, Jeff and I have been joking around with you when we've done these live shots before that, and let's just take you full here, that your TV area left a lot to be desired as far as cords and such. Rumor has it that you embarked on a project.
An epic journey. I never liked the cord situation, but I didn't really, I was just sort of like, whatever. I'm watching the TV, not the cords. I never really liked the TV stand situation because one of the posts could never even get into its spot. So it was really never that stable.
Yeah.
So I used this time to say, maybe I should get a new TV stand.
Okay.
So I ordered one from Home Depot and I got it delivered.
Is this the package right there? That's the package right there.
That is the enormous box. And I was like, I could have even gone bigger. And I don't know how I would have gotten it up the one flight of stairs because that was like 100 pounds. And lugging that up one flight of stairs nearly killed me.
And we should say you are an athletic guy. I mean, don't you run every day? You run.
Yeah, basically every day. And I thought, 100 pounds, I can pull this up the stairs. But by the end, I was like passed out on the second floor of my building. Yeah, it was
done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sweat.
Now let's go to the next photograph. what are we looking at here, Ted?
So this is the disaster. Once I open up the box, get everything organized, this is the disaster that I'm looking at on my floor. And I'm thinking, so this was at about 4 o'clock. And I'm like, I got to go to bed at like 6:37. And I'm looking at this and I'm saying, oh, yeah, I can do this in an hour and a half. Huh?
Now, this is not from IKEA, but it looks almost as complicated as the famously complicated IKEA instructions. What are we looking at here for instructions?
So we've got this book. This is
that looks like a plumbing blueprint.
Yeah. So, and it's misleading because on the last page, step 18. But within each step is like 15 different steps. So really you're at like step 100. Anyways, my teachers in grade school and middle school and high school, their biggest complaint about me was that I didn't read the directions. They were correct, because I would get like 5 steps into this and I realize I did not follow the directions, and I've got to go back 2 steps and take everything apart and switch one piece around.
Oh, did you do one of those things where you put like a side on like backwards?
Yep. Or like the leg was like pointing out the wrong way, but you have like 12 other things into it. And in order to get it figured out, you got to take everything apart and do like, oh, now it works.
Oh, Ted. So all in all, how long did this take you?
I think I finished around 7:30, 8 o'clock, 3.5, 4 hours, a little bit overtime.
Okay, but we ready? Here we go.
This way.
Yeah, move, Ted. There we look at that, everyone.
In all its glory.
That is gorgeous. And now let's look at the professional photograph as well. This is like Ted, this is like HGTV. There's the reveal, everyone. Oh, Ted, that almost looks like an adult apartment.
I know. And you know what beefs that picture up? That I was able to hang up that photo that had been on my floor for about 6 years.
Oh, look, you have art hanging up, Ted.
I know. Art, yeah. That picture I hadn't hung up in a really long time. And then I decided, well, because of the quarantine, let's go to the hardware store, buy a hook, and put it up.
The whole point of this segment, ladies and gentlemen, was to encourage you to do a project like Ted. Hashtag be like Ted.
Be like Ted.
That's right. Thanks, buddy. We're going to take a break, everyone. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back. A lot of us are doing a lot of home projects. I don't need to tell you that. You could drive by Home Depot to see the line going in to realize, everybody's doing something. And that includes gardening. But where do you start? What do you do? Our buddy Kendall talked to our good friend garden guy Dale Kay about some spring gardening tips.
So like I said, I've told you, but for people at home, I have this front garden area that we've been working on for a couple years now. And there's a specific spot that I'm really looking to redo. But I've found, and maybe people at home feel this way too, it's kind of intimidating, 1, to redo a big area of your land into a garden. But 2, it's hard to figure out how to do it. So Dale, what are the first steps when you find an area of your garden or your property that you're like, I want to make a perennial garden here?
You almost have to have a plan or start to jot down things on paper. And that's almost what I did when I saw your space, because every space is unique. And because you're doing yours in the front of the home, you have to start to take into consideration architecture and maybe a little bit of curb appeal as well. So that really will determine what kind of flower garden or perennial garden that you start to design. So I would start with the home first. And your home is more like mid-century modern. It's got some cool, colors going on. So that really starts to determine your landscaping plan.
Okay, so really, especially if it's in the front of your home, take your actual house into consideration.
You have to, where, if you had a single level home or something that was like a Cape Cod style home. You could do like a cottage garden. Yours will, when you have a home like yours that's tall and also mid-century modern, you want to kind of formalize that, and that's where that plan really starts to take place. And you'll need to use some heights and some color blocking to make sure that that looks good.
Okay, so take your house into consideration. And then you and I spoke yesterday because, like you said, you wanted some photos, dimensions. Dimensions, though, actually measuring out the size of where you're working with.
Right, and that will help you determine how many plants. So once you start to do your research on height and spreads, and it's easy to go to the garden center and put in a whole bunch of things, and then you forget that these plants, like babies, they actually grow and get big and mature. So you really got to do some of that research. So starting off knowing what space you want to have, what type of light, what type of soil, and how you want things to develop, that all plays an important part.
Speaking of lighting, we'll talk about this more in a second, but I've got because I have like sort of a half shaded area, I want to confirm. So full sun, it just needs 6 hours, correct?
The full sun is basically afternoon sun from about noon onwards. That's considered full sun. Anything less than that, or if you're getting a lot of afternoon shade, then you're starting to, sort of some of those shadier plants will like those kind of areas. But roses and certain plants need full day sun, and that's really from about noon onwards.
Interesting. I didn't know that, because a lot of my garden gets morning sun and then it doesn't get anything really again until about 2 o'clock. So that morning doesn't totally count, which explains why my plants usually aren't as developed as other plants in the neighborhood, I guess.
You got that big old maple, that silver maple in the front of your home. And that actually that's actually more of a blessing than a curse sometimes, because there's only a select group of plants that like that hot baking afternoon sun, and yet we can design around that. But having morning sun till noon and then a little bit of afternoon sun, you'll find your palette of plants that you can plant is probably a little bit more expanded. Getting
to my plan, I've got it measured out. I tilled that area when we tilled our vegetable garden last year. Is that something people have to do? Is that a good idea if you're going to make a new space?
So is your favorite time, I don't know if you're like me, but my favorite time to jump into my bed is when I've just cleaned the sheets, right? They've just washed, air dried, they smell great, and you jump into bed and you have like the best night's sleep ever, right? That's me. I'm not sure if that's you, but that's me. And your bed or what you're planting into is almost exactly the same. The more comfortable or the more you spend on soil preparation and that bed preparation, the better, the healthier your plants will be. Your inputs will be less. So that soil that I looked at from your photos looks like it needs a feed. It didn't look it looked a little compacted, so I would go ahead and till it again. And anything solid and organic that you can incorporate into the soil, peat moss, compost, some garden soil, all that stuff is great. And that gets you that nice, comfy bed that you just want to jump into, and your plants will just want to jump into that soil and really grow. They'll really appreciate that extra time that you spend on soil preparation, and you really almost can't overdo adding compost into your soil. And that might be a good opportunity too. You could actually berm up, or you could create some height with soil, and that can add some dimension to that garden too. So that would be another option that you would do as your foundation, get to the foundation of that planting. Okay, we do compost here, so we're ahead of the curve a little bit there, so that's good. Yeah, and I actually love it that you have that vegetable garden in back. So I would start to think about plants that would attract pollinators. So that way you're maximizing your vegetable garden as well. So we've got all the basics, but you sketched up something for me, because I had a really hard time looking online. I kind of picked out the plants that I liked. I looked at what would grow in Minnesota, what wouldn't. But the real trick for me is I was like, how do you lay it out so that, do you focus on color? Do you focus on size? Do you focus on bloom time? I was really overwhelmed by the whole thing. It's always good to do research, and going to your favorite local garden shop, They are a great resource for plants. You can do that research online as well. But you really want to get out and see the plants and see how they're going to grow, see the colors. And ideally with a perennial garden, you want season-long color. And that's, you can really get that from perennials. So spring blooming, midsummer into late fall, you can incorporate all those different types of plants. Your area is unique because you got that shade sun kind of issue. So what I propose is doing a nice little border of coral bells along that flagstone, and that way they do well in some sun and also shade. That will tie the two areas together. I mentioned your home is tall, so you'll need some taller shrubs, maybe like a hydrangea, kind of against your vegetable garden border. Some ornamental grasses would look fantastic with the colors that you have with your navies and your trim. They would look great. And really just big groups and pops of color would do really well in to fill up those spaces. But peonies, sedums, coneflowers, Rebecchias, all of those things are great pollinators for your veggies, and you'll get great color as well.
Okay, so think about color, big spaces. I like that. And then sort of when you were listing things, sort of going by height.
Right. It's like a family photo, right? You want to get the whole family together. You put the tall people in the back. The short people like me are always in the front. My grade school pictures always in the front, right? So that's exactly when you stand back and you look at your landscape. Just think of you're going to do the family photo, tall in the back, smaller in the front.
Should you bring invasive plants into your garden, even if they have a hybrid, non-invasive species like those butterfly bushes, for example?
So the good news about butterfly bushes in Minnesota is the winters are so harsh here that they kind of die back down to the root and come back up again. They're kind of marginal here. So that plant you're safe with, but generally speaking, you don't want to bring invasive plants into your garden. And that's where a local resource, like a local garden shop, is better or has a more detailed approach to our climate, our zone, more than doing general research on the internet, because obviously in our climate, zone 4, our gardening practices are different than those, just about anywhere in the country.
Okay, good to know. Go local. Just another reason to buy local, right?
That's right. But you're talking to gardeners, and it's just not garden shops. There's garden clubs. There's county resources. There's all sorts of resources available to gardeners. But if you do stick local and join a garden club, or get to know your favorite local garden shop, they're really the best at knowing what works in our area.
Okay, well, we will see how this goes for me. I'm going out and doing this, and by the time this airs, I'll have done all of this. We'll see how it goes. Dale, thank you so much for helping me out with this. The Jason Show. We'll be right back.
Welcome back as we're wrapping up the show today. As always, thank you for watching. I have a little moment of gratitude. Sometimes in this little goodbye, I give a spotlight to different types of workers, nurses, dentists, grocery store workers. But I want to really say thank you today to all the folks that were behind the scenes for last weekend's Shine On Minnesota benefit. I hope a lot of you watched, and even more, I hope a lot of you donated to our fantastic charities. But this was on Sunday, and I just want to say thanks to Minnesota Public Radio again. I want to say thanks to our my co-host Kathy Wurzer and Jill Riley, and of course, my darling Alex Kendall from the Fox 9 Morning News. It was so fun to do this event with all of them, and thanks to all the entertainers who participated, from Yam House to Dessa to the Minnesota Orchestra to PJ Fleck, Yam House, I think I've already mentioned them, to Melissa Peterman, my buddy Joel McKinnon Miller from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Thanks to all of you, and thanks to all the entertainers who gave up their time to help us with Shine On Minnesota. And thanks to our behind-the-scenes crew, Beth Perlman, and of course, our executive producer, Jeff Orcutt. Here's the deal. Producing the news in this environment is hard enough. And then the bosses were like, hey, on top of this, let's do a giant charity event. And Jeff led the team, and he did an amazing job. And never gets the credit. The behind the scenes people, say it all the time, never get the credit they deserve. So thanks to everybody who made Shine On Minnesota shine. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. And thanks to all of you and your generous donations, and to Give MN as well for helping us. That is going to do it for us today. Thank you as always for watching. Be safe, be happy, keep that smile on that face, and go out there and be yourself, because nobody can tell you you're doing it wrong. We'll see you on Thursday.